for joining us again at Unleashing Your Beauty, Discovering Your Power Within. I'm your host and executive producer, Eli Thompson. Today we're here with Mrs. Pamela Burks. She is a speaker, coach, and great author. She has been guiding women to develop their confidence, courage, and commitment. And we have known each other for about 6 years, right?
About 6 years, yeah.
Yeah. We have grown in areas together. We have developed a great friendship. I love this woman. She has helped me in so many areas. So welcome, Pamela.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about being here.
You're quite welcome. Pamela, you had a meetup called Woman in Transition, and that's how we met.
Right.
I met a lot of ladies there from all walks of life. And I was so intrigued by the title, Woman in Transition, because I had just moved to the area. I'd left North Carolina. I knew nothing about you, but your beautiful smile. And reading about the information was like, well, why not? So, would you tell me a little bit about that group? Tell our audience about that group.
Absolutely. Woman in Transition, and it is woman in transition because I focus on each woman individually. Everybody's got an individual story to tell, and that story has value not only for them to know where they have come from in their journey, but it's valuable for others so that they can either get to know them or they can realize that our stories are not all that different. We take little different paths, but not all that different. The group was originated because I had just moved into the area from Atlanta and didn't know anyone here, didn't have any friends. What I wanted to do was to develop new friendships, but I also wanted to follow through and move forward on a passion that I was following. I had been coaching friends and relatives based on my natural gifts and talents, and I wanted to pursue that more professionally, be certified, and to help women achieve their goals and objectives. So Woman in Transition was more of a broad-based opportunity for people who are embarking upon something new, a transition in their life, to come together with other people who were embarking upon a transition in their life, and to so that we could do this together. It's harder to do things, especially things that you're not familiar with or something that's a new environment by yourself. It's a little easier when you've got other people with you. So Woman in Transition, now 7 years old, we just celebrated our 7th year anniversary in February. Woman in Transition has brought people together who were in a new place, starting a new job, transitioning from their marital status in multiple different ways, empty nesters, retirees, women from all types of life transitions.
Yes.
And it's been great.
And it was one thing, too, because it was multicultural.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, that was intriguing as well, because you speak multiculturally.
I do.
You cross the cultures.
I do. I grew up in an area that was more focused, or should I say was, well, let's be honest, 99% my culture. However, when I began to pursue my corporate career, and when I decided to pursue my gifts and talents, I found that there were no cultural barriers, there were no racial barriers between people who were going through those same situations. So it does not matter.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
No. Just like when we came together, we didn't know each other.
No, not at all.
But we were still going through some of the same things.
Right.
Your book.
I have co-authored 3 books. The first one was called Self-Esteem and Empowerment for Women. The second was Overcoming the Superwoman Syndrome, which is a book that has gotten a lot of attention because there are a lot of us who are part of our transition is that whole Superwoman Syndrome. We've got to do it all. We got to do it all the time. We've got to be always.
Oh, why is that?
Yeah. We are always on. We are always in the volunteer, what I call the volunteer mode. It's like, I'll do that. I'll take care of that. Let me handle that. And we're either doing that because we figure somebody else is going to mess it up and we're going to get blamed for it.
Yes.
or we do it because somebody's doing it and they're not doing it the way we would do it.
Or fast it up.
Or fast enough. And there's a certain way you do things. We get stuck in our own heads with this certain way that you've got to do things. And if you're doing things, it's got to be done this way, blah, blah, blah. So there are a whole host of reasons why we end up volunteering. And there's the whole second piece where we end up being volunteered because we haven't learned the art of saying no.
Yes. It's an art, though.
It is, absolutely.
But it's something that can be acquired.
It can be acquired. And there's more than one way to say no.
Yes,
If one way is uncomfortable, then find another way. But learn how to say no and learn when no is to your advantage.
Yes.
And to be able to share that. So the Superwoman Syndrome got a lot of attention for that reason in the last book that I did. And it's been a while since I've done any promotion for this particular book. But it was Success Simplified. And it was a focus more on how you go about achieving your success. There's more than one avenue to success. There's not just one way to go.
Yes.
And, my contribution to the book was not necessarily a path to get to success, but it was the process to acquire and achieve success on a regular basis. By following this process, your success can be consistent over time, but it involves a series of what I call the P's, the letter P. And there are 3 to 5, depending upon what you're doing, P's to your success.
Okay, well, those who are watching right now, you'll have to buy the book to find about those P's, okay? We'll be right back with more of Unleash Your Beauty, Discover Your Power Within. Oh, I like that. That was so smooth. You're a smooth operator. We're back again with Mrs. Pamela Burks.
We were talking about the commitment of friendship and when friends fail, because friends sometimes fail you. What you'll find, and what we already know, it's not anything that we have to find, and we already know. There are some friends that are friends forever, the BFFs, best friends forever. And those people will be there for you thick and thin, day and night, right and wrong, left and right. They are there for you no matter what. And then there are other people who are more acquaintances. Yes. There's like 5 circles of relationships.
Yes.
And where you may be someone else's acquaintance, they may be to you a BFF.
Yes.
And when you've got those relationship mismatches, that's when we have painful encounters that happen that sometimes ruin or end the relationship. Because if I'm sharing to you with my heart,
yes,
and it turns out that you're not a BFF for me, you're more, or should I say, I am your BFF, you are not mine.
Yes.
And when I share something heartfelt with you, or I share something that I'm really troubled about, and you don't respond, you don't relay, you either walk away, or worse yet, you share it with other people without my permission, then what we find is that you've lost a confidence and you've been hurt. It feels like betrayal.
Yes.
And what you've lost then is that the confidence between the two of you. You've lost your courage to move forward with somebody else, what you need to share with them, and you've lost your ability to take the next step.
Yeah.
What I like about coaching is that it steps in when those friendships have failed you. When you find that there's something you really, really need to talk to somebody about. By having a life coach with you, being able to share that information, somebody who is on your side and has got your best interest at heart, that's the person that you can be honest with. And that person then builds your confidence, builds your commitment, builds your courage so that you can move forward.
Now, before on an episode, I was talking about how we have everything within us from the time that we're born, or actually from the time that we're conceived. Like when that sperm hits that egg, boom, that's that magical moment. And everything is right there. You were talking about the child who would see something and goes after that goal. I mean, it's like tunnel vision, right? It's just like that sperm hitting the egg. There's tunnel vision. You got to get there. Everything becomes diminished over time. Things happen. Life happens. People happen. Encounters. So, what are some of the things that, just maybe two things, that you could share with us as a coach that you would suggest people think about doing or consider doing to turn things around in their lives?
Well, I have a couple of activities that I do, and some of them that I share with folks in some of my group coaching events. And one of the activities that I ask them to do is, first of all, for them to be able to write their own announcement or their own introduction if they were going to be receiving a lifetime award for a lifetime of achievement.
Wow.
Write all those things down that you have done, and then weave in those things that you intend to do.
Now that is deep.
It tells you where you're going. It tells you where you need to go, but it also builds that journey of where you've been. And if you actually sit down and walk through those things that you actually did do, it builds up. You know, it reminds you, first of all, and then it rebuilds that idea. It's like, oh yeah, I did do that. Oh yeah, I did do that. You know, and you start to remember the things that you have just pushed aside and left behind, and the things that other people have told you, it's no big deal.
Yes.
But it turns out it really was a big deal.
Yes.
Not just for you, but for the other people who were involved.
Yes,
so one of the things that I would definitely recommend is that you write your introduction speech to the Achievement Award for Lifetime Achievement.
Okay, you hear that? You need to get some pencil and paper, not a pencil, a pen, an ink pen, so that you can't erase it. Yes.
To go ahead and get that down, because that's one part of it. One part of it is what I've done, where I've gone, and you need to acknowledge that. Self-acknowledgement is very powerful and very valuable in building up your own self-esteem and your own self-confidence. And the other side is being able to dream. We stopped dreaming when we were kids.
Yes.
We stopped with the diaries about what I want to be and where I want to go and so forth and so on.
We had our key, we put it on a chain around our necks.
We stopped dreaming.
Yes.
We stopped dreaming because somehow or another we decided that that's for kids. What we need to do now is set goals.
Yes.
And we need to set achievements.
Yes.
And we need to, give it up. Give it up. What you need to do is dream.
Yes.
Because the dreams are where your desires actually live.
Yes.
And if you want at the end of your life to have achieved something that is valuable to you, you need to dream, and then you need to pursue those dreams. One of the things that I spoke with a group of women, baby boomers, who were looking at what their next objectives were going to be. They had gotten beyond the career thing, and they were like, well, what are we going to do next with our life? And I asked the question, and they all laughed, and I said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, grow up? I just retired. I'm grown up. I said, no, you keep growing.
Yeah.
We always keep growing. You grow from one stage of life to another. So if you've grown through career, and you've grown through child rearing, and you've grown through whatever else you've grown through, and you're now at this point in your life, or if you're at the very beginning, you've grown through adolescence, and you finally turned 16, you got your driver's license, and you finally graduated from high school, and now you're in college, and you're like, okay, so what am I going to do now?
Yes.
I need to start my career.
Yes.
Okay, but you need to start your life.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you need to dream for the next phase, the next stage, the next place in your life. And so what I encourage everybody to do is when you sit down and close your eyes and think about what you are going to be doing in the next 5 years. Could be the next 3 years. You pick the time frame. But what do you see yourself doing during that time?
Yes.
Close your eyes, envision what you're doing. But don't envision just what you're doing. Where are you? What's around you?
Oh, this has been a very rich conversation.
It has, and I'm really enjoying this. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, man. So I thank you, Ms. Burks, for being with us today.
I am honored to have been here.
If we want more information about you,
You can find me online at PamelaBurks.com, BURKS.com. I am also on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. But if you want to know about the programs that I offer, PamelaBurks.com is where you'll find those things. And if you want to reach out to me, by all means, feel free to reach out to me at inspired@PamelaBurks.com. Send me an email.
and you will be inspired, I guarantee you, because she has really inspired me. I thank you for being with us today, and I hope to see you the next time. As a matter of fact, I look forward to seeing you the next time. If you want to get in touch with us, you want to see specific topics covered, reach out to us at unleashyourbeauty2@gmail.com. See you the next time.